Hi, boys and girls. Glad to see you again. I want to share with you another story, and this one is called Mrs. Wishy Washy. It's published by Shortland Publications, and it's written by Joy Cowley and illustrated by Elizabeth Fuller. Mrs. Wishy Washy. Mrs. Wishy Washy. She has a scrub brush, doesn't she? And some soap. "Oh, lovely mud," said the cow, and she jumped in it. "Oh, lovely mud," said the pig, and he rolled in it. "Oh, lovely mud," said the duck, and she paddled in it. Along came Mrs. Wishy Washy. "Just look at you," she screamed. "In the tub you go." In went the cow, wishy-washy, wishy-washy. In went the pig, wishy-washy, wishy-washy. In went the duck, wishy-washy, wishy-washy. "That's better," said Mrs. Wishy Washy, and she went into the house. Away went the cow. Away went the pig. Away went the duck. "Oh, lovely mud," they said. Do you like playing in the mud? On a rainy day, it's a lot of fun to watch the water go down the sides of the road. Lots of times you can see worms, and you can even play in the mud, making mud pies. It can be lots of fun. Here is another book called Mrs. Wishy Washy's Farm. It's also written by Joy Cowley and illustrated by Elizabeth Fuller. This one's published by Puffin Books. Mrs. Wishy Washy's Farm. This is Mrs. Wishy Washy, and this is her farm. Here is her house, and her truck, and her barn. Do you see where her truck is? Yeah, in the barn. Here by the barn is the old tin tub where all the animals go for a scrub. Wishy-washy, wishy-washy, moo, the cow cries. "I hate this old tub. I've got soap in my eyes." Wishy-washy, wishy-washy, ee, the pig squeals. "I have been scrubbed from my nose to my heels." Wishy-washy, wishy-washy, quack, the duck moans. "I've got suds in my feathers and aches in my bones." The scrubbing is over. The tub goes away. No more washing, the animals say. Moo, moo, ee, whack, whack, whack. "Bye, Mrs. Wishy Washy, mean old Mrs. Wishy Washy. We are leaving you, and we won't be back." Oh. Fast down the highway they run side by side. Where will they go? Where will they hide? "Ee, the city," squeals the old pig. "We'll go to the city where the barns are big." Are those barns? They're big buildings, aren't they? Skyscrapers, apartment buildings, office buildings. But the city is as wild as a farm stampede. There's nowhere to rest and nowhere to feed. The 3 hungry animals walk into a barn. There is food on the dishes, but it's not like the farm. The cow looks around with an anxious face. "I think we could be in the wrong eating place." Along comes the cook with an angry shout. "You'll be roast on toast if you don't get out." They run for their lives to the barn next door and find themselves in a hardware store. Oops. Then a van pulls up in two shakes of a tail. It's the pickup van from the animal jail. They're taken away. Oh, what bad luck for the cow and the pig and the poor old duck. They sit in a huddle, hungry and pale, in the cold, muddy cage of the animal jail. Then the unhappy cow and the pig and the duck hear the chug, chug, chug of the old farm truck. They moo and they squeal and they quack and they cheer. It's dear Mrs. Wishy Washy. She is here. Far from the city and back on the farm, the animals run to the old red barn. Now Mrs. Wishy Washy fills up the tub. Come on, you three, you need a good scrub. Oh, bliss, says the cow, and she jumps right in. Oh, bliss, says the pig with a happy grin. Oh, bliss, says the duck, splashing in with the rest. There's no doubt about it. Home is best. Wishy washy, wishy washy. Sometimes, boys and girls, you may not like to take a bath either, hey? But home is the best, even when there's things you really don't want to do. Do you know that a few years ago, I had my students make a Mrs. Wishy Washy book. And let's just read a couple of pages in this book. So Tristan wrote, Mrs. Wishy Washy is so silly. One day she washed an alien. Mrs. Wishy Washy is so silly. One day she washed a horse. Alex drew that. So this is published by me, and it's a book made by my former students. Mrs. Wishy Washy is so silly. One day she washed a dog, and that's drawn by Reuben. Mrs. Wishy Washy is so silly. One day she washed a cow and a pup, and that is drawn by Michaela. Mrs. Wishy Washy is so silly. One day she washed a duck, by Kennedy. Mrs. Wishy Washy is so silly. One day she washed a horse. Noah drew that. And the last page, Mrs. Wishy Washy is so silly. One day she washed a pup, and Emma drew that. Boys and girls, I want you to draw something that you think Mrs. Wishy Washy washed. So, can you see my paper here? Just a little bit. We'll move these flowers over there for another time. So, first we've got to draw a tub, right? So, if we make down, across, and down, do you see that? Yeah, it's kind of like a big U, the letter U. And I'm going to draw something that's in there being washed by Mrs. Wishy Washy. And I guess I need to make a Mrs. Wishy Washy. So I'm going to make her here really quick. There's her legs and her feet and her arms. Make some fingers on the ends of her arms. And she had her hair tied up in a bun. And she has a nose, and she has eyes, and she likes to wash. So she's got a smile on her face. She has a striped apron, doesn't she, in some of the pictures. So I think I'm going to give her that. And it comes up to here. And goes down like this. Lots of stripes on Mrs. Wishy Washy. So there she is. And in the tub, I wonder what I want her to wash. She washed a lot of farm animals, didn't she? Maybe I will draw a sheep, because it didn't show in the stories that she washed a sheep, and I like sheep, so I'm going to make, it's kind of like a cloud, and then a head at the front, and the head needs ears. It's hard to draw to show you as I'm drawing. How many legs does a sheep have? 4, you're right. And this sheep is going to be kind of loving his bath. So I've got a smile on his face, and he's got a tail. And what am I missing in this picture? Some water. So I'm going to get a blue marker out for some water. And I'm going to put some water in my tub like that. You could color it if you wanted. Sometimes fast coloring is just, I know it's like scribbles, but it's a fast way to color. And I'm going to make some drops of water splashing out. Maybe some will get on Mrs. Wishy Washy. This is just kind of like, and some will fall on the floor because sometimes when we're splashing, water gets on the floor, doesn't it? Our parents don't like it that much because it causes lots of extra work. So if we make a mess in the tub, we should wipe up some of our spills. So there's my splashy water of Mrs. Wishy Washy, and I'm going to write a sentence. I'm going to say, Mrs. Wishy Washy. What does wishy washy start with? Yes, a W. Mrs. Wishy Washy washed a sheep. Shh. Yes, sheep starts with SH because that reads shh. And what does she? Yes, it has E's in the middle. And what does it end with? A P. P. And we always put a period or a dot at the end of our sentence unless we're asking a question. So you could write a sentence underneath your picture. And there's Mrs. Wishy Washy. And you can make her however you would like. I hope, boys and girls, you will have fun drawing a picture of what she washes. Maybe you want to draw a picture of her washing a robot or a doll, whatever you want to do, a worm, anything. So, boys and girls, thank you for joining me. I'm so glad you did, and I hope you have a wonderful day, no matter the weather, because God made it all. And He made you, and you are important, you are smart, and you are loved. Bye for now.